Have you ever walked into someone's home and felt an instant wave of calm, like you'd just been wrapped in a soft blanket you didn't know you needed? Maybe it was the scent of fresh linen, lemon peel, or something warm you couldn't quite name. But you felt safe, welcome, seen. That's the kind of feeling I never thought much about. Not until I realized my own home didn't give it to me. Sure, I cleaned. I used air fresheners from the grocery store. I even lit the occasional candle. But something always felt off. It was like my space was missing a soul. No one ever teaches us this. That scent isn't just a background detail. It's not an afterthought. It's a language. A kind of invisible music that tells the body you're safe now. And when it's missing, even if we don't notice it consciously, our nervous system does. That heaviness in the air, that restless feeling at night, that sense that your home doesn't recharge you anymore. It might have nothing to do with clutter or lighting or how expensive your furniture is. It might just be the absence of intentional scent. The truth is, scent is memory. It's emotion. It's the fastest path to calm. And we've been ignoring it. But not anymore. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I learned from luxury home designers, spa consultants, and wellness professionals who know that smell is the secret no one talks about, but everyone feels. And no, you don't need a $300 diffuser or a cabinet full of oils. You just need a shift in mindset. Because when your home starts to smell like you, the real, cared-for, peaceful version of you, everything changes. And it starts now. Let's begin with something so simple, so basic, you might overlook it. Air. Not just air that exists, but living, moving air. The kind that whispers through curtains and stirs something in your chest. The kind that feels like your home is exhaling, finally. When I started this journey, I thought scent meant candles, sprays, or diffusers. But what I didn't realize is that before you add any smell, you have to first let go of the old ones. See, homes hold on to air like memories. That heavy smell in the hallway? The weird mix of last night's dinner and damp laundry? It's not just unpleasant, it's stuck energy. It's air that hasn't moved in days, sometimes weeks. That was me. I'd clean surfaces, light a candle, and wonder why everything still felt stale. Then I learned what designers in high-end homes and boutique hotels swear by. Cross-ventilation, intentional airing out, not just sometimes, daily. Here's what changed everything. I started opening 2 windows on opposite sides of my house, even just 2 inches, for 10 minutes in the morning. Sometimes I added a small fan by one of them to help move the air along. And within days, the mood of the house felt lighter, like it had finally stretched after a long sleep. Closets, laundry rooms, bathrooms with no windows. I'd leave their doors open during the day, let them breathe. I even placed a small fan outside my pantry once, just to see, and the difference was immediate. It's not magic. It's air in motion. And motion heals. This isn't just a cleaning hack. It's a ritual, a way to say, I release what no longer serves me, even if it's invisible. And when your home breathes, you breathe. The fog lifts. The tension softens. And you begin to feel a strange, quiet peace in the corners of your rooms, not from something you bought, but from something you allowed. Fresh air doesn't cost anything, but it gives you everything: clarity, calm, and a new beginning, one open window at a time. Let's talk about something no one warned me about: the quiet way scent hides in fabric. You can clean the floors until they shine. You can light your favorite candle every evening. But if your curtains, cushions, or that cozy throw you always reach for are holding on to yesterday's air, your home will always carry a faint memory of something off. It hit me one afternoon. I walked into my bedroom after cleaning the whole house, and it still smelled a little like last week's soup. Not because the house was dirty, but because the fabrics had held on. You see, textiles are like emotional sponges. They soak in everything. Your cooking, your shampoo, the scent of your dog's favorite spot on the couch. They remember more than we do. And no, I don't mean you need to spend every Saturday scrubbing pillows. This is about gentle rhythm, not perfection. Here's what changed everything for me. I started washing my pillowcases and sheets weekly, not just for cleanliness, but for lightness. The scent of lavender on fresh cotton? It's heaven. Once a month, I vacuumed or gently washed my curtains. I used to think that was overkill. But now, it feels like I opened a window on the entire room. For the couch, I filled a spray bottle with warm water, a splash of white vinegar, and a few drops of rosemary and lemon essential oils. A light mist was all it took. Rugs, sprinkle baking soda, leave it for 20 minutes, and vacuum. The air feels different immediately. Cleaner, quieter, calmer. And here's my favorite trick. I lightly mist my sofa blankets with eucalyptus oil and hang them outside for just 15 minutes. The air does the rest. When I bring them in, they smell like the breeze itself. The best part? It's not about perfume. It's not about masking smells. It's about letting your home exhale through its softest places. Because when your fabrics are fresh, your space feels like it's been hugged. And that invisible feeling of care? It shows up in every thread. You deserve to walk into a room and feel like it was waiting for you. That's what clean textiles do. They don't scream, they whisper, "You're home now." If you had told me that the secret to a fresh-smelling home was sitting in my pantry all along, I probably would have laughed. Because let's be honest, vinegar? It doesn't exactly smell like a spa. But what I didn't know, and now can't unknow, is that white vinegar is one of the most powerful natural tools you'll ever use for scent, for energy, and for clarity. Not because it smells good, but because it removes what smells bad. At the root. Store-bought sprays? They mask. Essential oil diffusers? They decorate. But vinegar? Vinegar clears, it resets, it scrubs the air and says, "Let's start over." Now, before you wrinkle your nose, hear me out. Used properly, vinegar doesn't leave behind a harsh smell. In fact, it disappears faster than you'd expect, leaving only space. Breathing room. Here's how I use it. I pour a bit of white vinegar into a small bowl and tuck it behind the trash can, under the sink, or next to the litter box. Let it sit overnight. By morning, that funk is gone, and so is the vinegar scent. I make a gentle surface spray, half water, half vinegar, plus a few drops of essential oil, like lavender for softness, lemon for brightness, or peppermint for a fresh edge. I use it on counters, sinks, bathroom tiles, even the fridge. It leaves everything feeling crisp, simple, clean. And here's my favorite. I soak cotton pads in that same mix, tuck them in drawers, behind furniture, or in the linen closet. They just sit there, quietly working. Over time, something happens. Your home starts to carry this background hum of freshness. Not floral, not fake, just honest. And when people walk in, they don't say, "Oh, what's that perfume?" They pause, they breathe in, and they say, "Wow, it smells so good in here." Even if they can't say why. That's vinegar alchemy. It doesn't just clean, it creates space for better air, better energy, and a clearer mind. It's not glamorous, but it works. And in a world of overwhelm, that kind of invisible peace is priceless. Here's something no one told me until much later in life. Scent shouldn't come after cleaning. It should be part of it. Most of us scrub and spray and mop. Then we light a candle or plug in something floral. But by then, the moment is already over. What if we flipped that idea? What if your home didn't just look clean? but smelled clean while you were cleaning it. That was the shift that changed everything for me. Suddenly, wiping down a kitchen counter became a moment of calm. Mopping the floor felt like aromatherapy. Here's how I started. I made my own all-purpose cleaner. Half water, half vinegar, and 10-15 drops of essential oil. Lemon for clarity, lavender for calm, tea tree for purity. I'd shake it gently, spray it on every surface, and let the scent rise as I worked. For mopping, I'd fill a bucket with warm water and add eucalyptus and orange oils. In autumn, I'd use clove. In spring, mint and basil. Each season had its own aroma, like my home had a heartbeat that matched the weather. I kept a jar of reusable cloth soaked in the same mixture. Whenever I needed a quick refresh, I'd pull one out and wipe a doorknob, the fridge handle, or the bathroom sink. No harsh chemicals, no waste, just care. The magic of this practice? It turns cleaning from a chore into a ritual, not something to rush through, but something that grounds you. Because here's what I noticed. When your hands smell like lemon and rosemary, when your home quietly carries the scent of lavender as you move through it, you start to breathe slower. Your shoulders drop. You feel present. And your home? It starts to feel like it's participating in your life, not just holding space, but mirroring care back to you. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. When you clean with scent already in your hands, your tools, your cloth, you're telling yourself, I'm not just cleaning, I'm creating something sacred here. Little pockets of aroma that work silently in the background, turning everyday spaces into moments of gentle joy. I used to think fragrance had to be loud, that people needed to notice it right away. But now I know. The best smells are the ones that make you pause and smile, without even knowing why. Here's how I create these hidden joys. I take cotton balls or small fabric squares, add a few drops of essential oil, like vanilla, cedarwood, orange, or lavender, and hide them behind sofa cushions, inside closet shelves, underneath the bed frame, or even tucked inside my vacuum filter. In my dresser drawers, I place a small pouch filled with dried lavender and rose petals. I add a bit of rice to help absorb moisture, and the scent lingers for weeks. In my entryway, I tape a tiny scented pad behind the heating vent. Every time the heat kicks in, the scent drifts through the room like a soft breeze from somewhere far away. You don't see any of it, but you feel it. That's the gift of these scent zones. They're not performative, they're quiet acts of care. Little secrets your home keeps just for you. Sometimes I forget they're even there, until I open a drawer or fluff a pillow, and I'm met with a note of eucalyptus or sweet orange, and it feels like the house just gave me a hug. These aren't expensive tricks. They're just intentional moments placed lovingly throughout your space. Because the truth is, you deserve to be surprised by beauty, even when no one's watching, even when it's just you and the quiet. Invisible scents are like poetry in the walls, unseen but unforgettable. There's something about citrus that just feels like a smile in the air. Lemon, orange, grapefruit. These aren't just fruits. They're mood lifters. They brighten more than just a room. They brighten you. I first noticed it while peeling an orange in the kitchen one quiet afternoon. The scent rose, sweet and sharp, and I suddenly felt lighter, like the sun had come through the window, even though it hadn't. Since then, citrus has become one of my favorite ways to freshen my home, not artificially but naturally, with joy built in. Here's what I do. I save the peels from lemons, oranges, and tangerines, and I simmer them gently on the stove with water and a cinnamon stick. Sometimes I add cloves in the winter or mint leaves in the summer. Within minutes, the whole house smells like warmth, like energy, like a deep breath. I dry the peels and place them in small bowls, one by the kitchen sink, another on the bathroom shelf. They quietly release scent for days, and they look like little pieces of sunshine. I make a simple citrus air spray, water, rubbing alcohol, and essential oils like bergamot, sweet orange, or lemon. I spritz it on my sheets, curtains, even the doormat. It doesn't overwhelm. It uplifts. And when I'm feeling extra creative, I mix baking soda with crushed dried citrus peel and keep it in a small open jar near the trash or in the laundry room. It absorbs odors, yes, but more than that, it adds brightness. There's a reason citrus is so powerful. It doesn't just smell clean, it smells hopeful. And in seasons where energy is low or the days feel heavy, a single citrus note can shift the whole atmosphere. Not just in your house, but in your spirit. So next time you peel an orange, don't throw the skin away. Let it become part of your home, part of your rhythm, part of your joy. Because sometimes the simplest things, like a lemon peel on a windowsill, are the ones that bring the most light. Let's talk about the part of the home no one wants to think about. The trash can. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it holds more power over your home's scent than almost anything else. I used to ignore mine, take the bag out when it was full, slam the lid shut, and hope for the best. But no matter how clean the kitchen looked, there was always something lingering, a sourness, a shadow, a reminder that I hadn't cleaned everything. Here's the truth I had to learn the hard way. Trash is not something to hide, it's something to care for. And when you treat it that way, your entire home feels different. Here's my ritual now. Once a week, I scrub the inside of every trash bin with hot water, white vinegar, and a few drops of lemon oil. Not just a wipe, a full reset. Then I let it dry completely before adding a new bag. I line the bottom of each bin with a layer of baking soda on a paper towel. Sometimes I add a drop of peppermint or tea tree oil. It's like giving the trash can its own air freshener, but one that actually works. In my kitchen bin, I tape a cotton ball with eucalyptus oil inside the lid. So every time I open it, I get a soft, clean scent instead of a blast of regret. And here's the part that changed my mindset most. I never leave food trash overnight. Even if the bag's only half full, I take it out. Because the scent of leftovers turns fast. And waking up to a clean-smelling kitchen is worth 2 minutes the night before. When I made this shift, from ignoring the trash to honoring it, my whole home responded. It felt more loved, more tended to, even the parts no one sees. Because real care shows up in the corners, in the habits, in how we treat the spaces we used to overlook. So yes, even your trash can is part of your sanctuary. And when you treat it that way, your home says thank you, in silence, in freshness, and in peace. Not every space in your home speaks the same volume. Some corners, they shout, without saying a word. Designers call them hotspots, places where scent gathers quickly, lingers stubbornly, or quietly defines the feeling of an entire room. These are the first places guests notice, and too often, the last ones we think to refresh. I used to clean the obvious, the living room, the kitchen, the big surfaces. But the house still felt incomplete until I found my hotspots. And once I did, everything shifted. Let me walk you through mine. The front entryway, it sets the tone. So I placed a reed diffuser on a narrow table near the door. I lightly mist the doormat once a week with citrus spray, lemon and rosemary. Now when I walk in, I feel welcomed by myself. The bathroom. I keep a small jar of baking soda with eucalyptus oil under the sink. After a hot shower, I mist the curtain and tile with a water and lavender blend. It smells like a spa, without ever buying a ticket. The kitchen. This one's tricky. After cooking, I boil orange peel and cinnamon for 5 minutes. I wipe counters with a lemon oil solution. And here's the secret most people forget. I clean the stove hood filter once a month. It holds more grease and odor than you'd ever guess. The bedroom closet. I tuck a small pouch with sandalwood soap into the back of the shelf. Every time I open the door, I'm greeted by something soft, warm, familiar, and suddenly even getting dressed feels more intentional. None of these take more than a few minutes, but they carry weight. They create scent memories, the kind that linger emotionally long after the air has cleared. Because when you focus on the smallest spaces with the greatest attention, you transform the entire energy of your home. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. These corners don't just smell better, they feel alive. And in a world that moves so fast, those quiet anchors, those soft details, become your home's most beautiful form of expression. There's a sacred moment in every day when the house finally quiets down. The lights dim, the noise settles, and something inside you says, "It's time." For years I rushed through that moment, washed my face, turned off the lights, collapsed into bed. But the room never quite felt ready, and I never really rested until I learned the power of a nighttime scent routine. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, but it changes the way you fall asleep and the way you wake up. Here's what I do now, almost like a ceremony. I crack the window for 5 minutes before bed, even in winter. Letting in just a whisper of fresh air resets the room, like a soft exhale. I mist my sheets and pillows with a blend of water, a splash of alcohol, and a few drops of lavender and chamomile oils. It's gentle, floral, and grounding, like your body knows it's safe to let go. Inside my pillowcase, I tuck a tiny sachet of dried rose petals and lemon balm. The warmth of my head releases the scent slowly, all night long. If I'm using my diffuser, I set it to run for just 30 minutes, no more. Lavender with bergamot is my favorite, eucalyptus and mint if I need mental clarity. The air moves like a lullaby, and some nights, before I turn off the lamp, I light a small candle. Vanilla, sandalwood, something soft. I let it flicker for 10 minutes, no more. Just enough for my senses to register. The day is done. Peace is welcome here. These aren't chores. They're invitations. To settle in. To slow down. To let your home hold you the way you hold everyone else all day long. Because when your room smells like rest, you sleep differently. You wake up gentler. You carry that softness into the morning. And that's what a home is meant to do. Not just protect your body, but cradle your spirit, even in sleep. Now that you've heard all of this, the rituals, the oils, the little bowls of citrus peel, the quiet power of fresh air, I want to leave you with one simple truth. A good-smelling home isn't really about scent. It's about presence. It's about choosing to care. Choosing to create warmth not just in how things look, but in how they feel. Because scent isn't just perfume for a room, it's a story. It's the invisible way your space says, "This is who I am, this is how I live, and this is what I love." It's the cinnamon that lingers from the cookies your grandkids helped bake, the lavender that rises softly when you turn down the bed, the eucalyptus that drifts through the hallway and somehow makes you stand up straighter, breathe deeper. For years, I thought my home had to be perfect to feel peaceful. Now I know. It just has to be loved, tended to, honored in the little things. And here's the best part. You don't need to change everything. You don't need a shopping spree or a full weekend to deep clean. You just need one small moment, one act of intention. So tonight, pick something simple. Open a window, mist your pillow, tuck a cotton ball with lemon oil in the corner of your closet. Light a candle, just for you. Do it not because you should, but because your home deserves to hold you the way you hold everyone else. Let your home become a quiet conversation between your heart and your space. Let it smell like care, like comfort, like you. Because in the end, the scent of a home is more than air. It's the soul of how we live. And you, my friend, deserve to live beautifully. One breath, one habit, one loving detail at a time.